Hello, Chaz Marler from Pair of Dice Paradise here, once again, continuing this brand new little series where we are going to be taking a look at games that I have played within the last year that would or would not be worthy of being added to my top 100 games of all time, and why. And just like last time, we are going to start with the game that I played within the last year and why it did not make it onto my top 100 list. And that is How to Host a Murder. Now, I have participated in How to Host a Murder parties before, and they actually are quite enjoyable if the people that are participating really get into their roles and their characters. So why would this How to Host a Murder that I came into contact with this last year not make it onto my top 100 list? Because this is a demonstration of a very important lesson that I learned over the course of this past year while thrifting. And that is, if you come across a How to Host a Murder game at your local thrift store, before you purchase it, crack it open and make sure that the people who donated it to the thrift store didn't solve it for you already. And so you open it up and you know who did everything because they gave you all of the solutions. So while host a murder parties can be a really fun way to tell a story, this one was dead on arrival. Now instead, if I'm going to play a storytelling game, I'm going to reach for one that I got introduced to around Origins this year. Near and Far by Red Raven Games. Astute viewers may notice that this copy is still sealed, because this game made such an impression on me that after being introduced to it at a local convention, I went out and bought up my own copy of it to partake in with my own family to create some stories of our own. And better yet, nobody has to lay motionless in a chalk outline for 120 minutes. For those of you watching who may be from outer space and have not yet heard of Near and Far, this is a game that is a bit of a follow-up to Red Raven's previous game, Above and Below, which has some character building and story-driven elements. Kind of a choose-your-own-adventure book came along with it, and players would choose what they wanted to do and reap the rewards or consequences of their decisions. This takes that and kind of amps it up to 11. The way that the board game mechanisms flow into the storytelling aspect of this really seems to be streamlined. They took what they learned with Above and Below and really refined it and made a great package with Near and Far. So that's why this would edge its way onto my top 100 list now. Now, I know what you're asking is, well, where on your top 100 would Near and Far land now that it's earned its way onto it? I would say Near and Far would probably come in currently in the 70s. I'm looking forward to exhausting as much of its content as possible. And honestly, after that is done, I do wonder if it will have the staying power to remain on the top 100. But for now, it is definitely on there and definitely worth checking out if you're looking for a really good kind of story-driven campaign-style game to play with your family. Totally, highly recommend it. So that is Near and Far. And the best part is that Ryan Lockett and his team at Red Raven Games did not include all of the answers and solutions in Near and Far when they produced the game. A bold move, certainly, but one I believe is already paying off for them in spades. So that is Near and Far, earns its way onto my top 100 probably in the 70s, and a pre-solved secondhand How to Host a Murder, which does not. Thanks for joining me for this video, and join me again next time for the next installment in this series, where I'll be taking a look at a game that I have played more within the last year that has earned my way onto its top 100, my own top 100. The games themselves do not have top 100 lists. I have a top 100 list, and the game earns its way onto my top 100 list, and one that does not. That was a sentence, right?
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
That is, if you find a how to host to partake in and facilitate telling stories to my family thereto with. That was a sentence. Make sure that the people who donate... My chair bit my leg. My arm, too.